What is going on, guys? And today we're talking about Deandre Ayton and the most realistic landing spots. It has been reported that our man Deandre Ayton is looking at a few landing spots, most likely. Also, before we continue, Phoenix Suns, if they do a sign-in trade, they can only take half of the salary back in the sign-in trade. So the most realistic spots are Atlanta, Detroit, Toronto, and recently has been said that Myles Turner being involved with a Pacers swap. Now, again, this is from Jake Fischer, who I recently learned Scottie Barnes and a lot of NBA players hate him. So take it with a grain of salt. But let's talk about it. We'll talk about Atlanta, Detroit, Toronto, and the Pacers. I think the Pacers will be the first one to talk about. Deandre Ayton, we assume he'll probably get a $30 million plus deal. So if that is the case, it would probably be Myles Turner and a first-round pick for Deandre Ayton, a future first-round pick. They're not going to give up a lottery pick. So a future protected first-round pick for Deandre Ayton packaged with Myles Turner. The Suns get Myles Turner a first-round pick. That's what I see for the Pacers offering because they can only take half of the salary and it works out. They get a center that they like who can stretch the floor. Now, if you look over at the Pistons, again, I think it would have to be around Jeremy Grant and a future first-round pick. I don't think a package of Kelly Olynyk and Diallo or Frank Jackson or any of the guys on the roster would entice the Suns. So it would have to definitely be around Jeremy Grant and a first-round pick. Future, obviously, they're not going to give up this year's first-round pick. It's also a crazy thing about that the Pistons paid Blake Griffin this year $29.7 million not to be on their team. Now, the Hawks would probably be the deal that they're most interested in because it either would be revolved around four guys potentially, either John Collins, Danilo Gallinari, Bogdan Bogdanovic, or Clint Capella. And I say that due to the fact that John Collins, he can be, ideally, if he went to the Suns, he'd probably be their starting center or... Yeah, because Jay Crowder's their power forward. They have Miles or even Cameron Johnson's their power forward. And then they have Mikal at small forward, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul. So you'd run John Collins at center there. If they took Danilo Gallinari, it's to get under the cap space because they would waive Danilo Gallinari. It's very unlikely that they would take Danilo Gallinari. I doubt that they take Bogdan Bogdanovic because they don't really need him. Okay, they have a plethora of shooters. So with that being said, I look at this and it's either John Collins or Clint Capella. John Collins would be a little bit harder because you would assume that the Phoenix Suns, if they can only take back half the salary, which is probably going to be around $18 million, half of his contract, we'd assume, they would have to send over maybe Dario Saric or Landry Shamet, I'd assume, or Cameron Payne in a deal. And if the Hawks did something, it would be, I think if they sent John Collins over, they wouldn't have to give up as many picks. I think it would just be one pick. But if they do Clint Capella, I think you'd have to do two picks because it'd probably be Clint Capella straight up with two protected first round picks and for Deandre Ayton straight up. If it was John Collins, it'd probably be John Collins and one future first round pick or the 16th pick with... obviously, I don't think they're going to trade the 16th pick because they want to move up into the lottery, so they keep this pick. So it'd be John Collins and a future first-round pick, probably unprotected, for straight-up Deandre Ayton. Clint Capella, two future protected first-round picks for Deandre Ayton. Now, the most interesting one is the Toronto Raptors because it would definitely... They would try to get OG Anunoby, but OG Anunoby's not going anywhere. So this deal would either have to revolve around a package of Khem Birch, Precious Achiuwa, Malachi Flynn, and I'd assume Delano Banton and Svi Mykhailiuk, which right there, that is an awful deal. 4.3. No, wait, no, that's like 3.3, 2.5. 3.3. 5.5. Then you got basically 8.3, and then that's 4. That's not even enough. So really, it would have to be around Gary Trent, I'd assume, because OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, and Pascal Siakam are untouchable, and so is Scottie Barnes. So honestly, if they did a Raptors deal, it would have to be around Gary Trent Jr. And for me, the best deal is going to come from either the Pacers, if Myles Turner seems like a good option, Jeremy Grant seems like a great option. The Hawks is a good option. I think the Raptors don't give you much. I don't expect much to happen with the Raptors roster. So I want to hear your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this? Is what I'm saying just ridiculous, or did you guys actually agree with some of the things that I have said? I think some of it makes sense. I don't think it was all that far-fetched. I do understand that some of the, again, Jake Fischer, F you, man. I'm a guy who, I'm a person that believes in staying in the good grace of others. Okay, it's not that I care about what other people think about me. One thing I care about is people don't think I'm an absolute scumbag who starts rumors to piss off NBA players. That's your livelihood. Don't shit where you eat, man. Don't shit. And then someone's going to come at me and be like, well, he's a journalist. And I understand that, you know, I'm a journalist in training. I'm about to go into local news until I can get into the sports world. And for me, I get that, okay? I get that. But still, I am going to sit here and proclaim that I don't know what I'm going to proclaim. That's basically the video, guys. Have a good one.